Flying in 2025 looks the same on the surface, but underneath, everything is shifted. The rules you thought you knew, they're no longer the rules. And the worst part, most travelers won't realize it until they're standing at the gate. These aren't updates airlines want to highlight. They're tucked inside new apps, buried in terms nobody reads, and enforced in ways that feel random until you realize they're not. It's not about safety anymore, it's about revenue. One traveler's bag was rejected for being half an inch too wide. Another was fined for a power bank that was perfectly fine last year. Even seasoned flyers are being caught off guard. This isn't about inconvenience, it's about control. If you don't know what's changed, you're paying more, waiting longer, and carrying the blame for rules that shifted without warning. Airlines are moving faster than regulators, and they're betting you won't notice. But every hidden adjustment puts the risk on your shoulders, not theirs. Miss a single detail this year, and it could cost you your seat, your money, or even your entire trip. And once it happens, there's no one doing it. But that doesn't have to be your story. That's why we track these changes in real time, so you don't get blindsided when it matters most. If you miss what's coming next, you could lose more than just time. Stay ahead, stay informed. Hit subscribe before your next flight becomes your most expensive mistake.
This isn't theory. These changes are already active, already costing travelers time and money every single day. They don't trend on the news cycle because they're not designed to be obvious. Bit by bit, airlines have shifted accountability away from themselves and onto you. What was once included is now sold separately. What used to be a standard policy is now treated like a violation. From government tech mandates to contracts rewritten in marketing speak, the system is built to keep passengers compliant, distracted, and paying more. But here's the truth. If you know the rules before they're enforced, you can avoid the worst outcomes. Not with hacks, not with loopholes, but with knowledge. Clear, practical, current. Because these aren't updates you scroll past, they're changes that cost real money and sometimes your seat. So let's break them down one by one. Number 1, the solo traveler surcharge. Delta added it first. If you booked a single ticket, the price jumped as much as $90 compared to the exact same flight booked for 2 people. Same cabin, same fare, just more expensive if you were alone. We confirmed it ourselves. 1 passenger, $428. 2 passengers, $361 each. The math exposed the pattern. It wasn't marked as a fee, it wasn't explained anywhere, but the evidence was consistent. And only after it was widely noticed did Delta begin scaling it back. Not because they couldn't defend it, but because it was exposed. And now, similar pricing strategies are starting to appear with other carriers. Not an error, a deliberate model. So here's the takeaway. Before you book, check the same flight for 2 seats, even if you plan to travel alone. Because this tactic doesn't break laws, it hides in plain sight. And if you don't compare, you'll never know it's there. Number 2, United's 45-minute cutoff. On June 3, United quietly locked in a new system rule. Check-in must be completely completed at least 45 minutes before departure. No exceptions. Miss it by a single second, and you're locked out. Gate agents can't override it. Even if the counter line was backed up or your Uber hit traffic, the system shuts you out automatically. The result? Travelers missing weddings, job interviews, and major events, not because they arrived late to the airport, but because the rules silently changed. Your only protection now? Check in the night before. Open the app, secure your boarding pass, and don't assume a staff member can help if something goes wrong, because they can't. The system is now the final word. Number 3, Southwest isn't different anymore. For decades, Southwest stood apart. Bags flew free. Flight credits never expired. Passengers picked their seats when boarding. But that identity is eroding. As of 2025, travel credits now expire. In 2026, assigned seating rolls out. And in select test markets, analysts confirm Southwest has begun trialing bag fees, something once unthinkable for their brand. It's not just a policy change, it's the final passenger-first airline aligning itself with the same models it used to reject. If you believe one carrier still prioritized loyalty, this is your warning. Even they're shifting. And when the last holdout conforms, the industry standard changes for everyone. Number 4, power bank crackdown. In 2025, a flight across East Asia was forced into an emergency landing after a passenger's power bank overheated and caught fire mid-air. Regulators acted immediately. The new rules, Portable batteries must be kept in your personal bag under the seat. Overhead bins are off limits, and some carriers, especially in Europe and Asia, now ban in-flight charging altogether. Here's the critical point. You can carry several devices, but just one is stored incorrectly, you become a safety risk. That can get you flagged, removed, or left behind. Your safeguard? Stick to certified brands like Anchor and keep every power bank within arm's reach, because one wrong placement can ground your trip before it begins. Number 6. International route cuts. If you've tried booking from Canada or Europe to the US lately and found fewer options, you're not imagining it. Bookings from Europe dropped 10%, from Canada 33%. Airlines like Lufthansa, British Airways, and WestJet responded by cutting US routes, quietly and significantly. The consequences: fewer choices, higher fares, and reduced flexibility. A Montreal-Boston trip that once cost $220, now closer to $500. Nonstops to mid-size US cities, vanishing. This isn't a temporary shuffle, it's a structural shift. Airlines are funneling passengers toward the most profitable hubs and cutting everywhere else. Your best defense? Book earlier, use price alerts, and stay open to indirect connections. A train ride or extra layover may now be the cheapest and sometimes only way through. Number 7. United and JetBlue partnership. Finally, some good news. As of June 2025, United and JetBlue formed a partnership that actually benefits travelers. You can now earn and spend points across both airlines. United miles work on JetBlue, JetBlue points on United. No hoops. Elite perks transfer too. Priority boarding, free checked bags, and lounge access apply across both networks. And the biggest shift: more routes. JetBlue travelers get United's international reach. United passengers get expanded domestic coverage at JFK and Newark. One app, two networks, shared benefits. A rare win where loyalty actually delivers value.
UK ETA requirement. Starting January 8, 2025, showing your passport at the UK border won't be enough anymore. If you're a US or Canadian traveler, you'll also need an ETA, an electronic travel authorization. Think of it as a digital boarding pass for the country itself. The cost? £16. The validity? 2 years. The risk? Without it, you won't even make it past your departure gate. Airlines have already begun refusing boarding to travelers who show up without one. The biggest catch isn't the fee, it's the timing. Applications can take several days to process, and there's no fast lane if you forget. The safest play? Apply at least a week before your trip. And while this feels like an extra layer of hassle, it could have been worse. Europe's own system, ETIS, was supposed to start this year too, but it's been pushed back until 2026. Don't count on that delay lasting forever. This is the direction travel is heading. More digital checks, more pre-clearance, and fewer second chances at the airport. If you're not planning ahead, you're not really traveling anymore. Picture this. The plane touches down in Istanbul. The wheels hit, you hear the brakes, you hear the clicks of seatbelts coming loose. Instinctively, you stand, stretch, reach for your bag. Except now that reflex can cost you a 4-figure penalty. A new rule at Istanbul Airport makes standing up before the seatbelt sign is switched off a finable offense, over $1,000 per passenger. No warnings, no gray areas. And here's what most people don't know. Flight attendants are legally obligated to report it. It's written into their compliance duties. This isn't about courtesy anymore, it's about liability. For years, the rule sat ignored, but enforcement has shifted. Why? Because regulators and insurers see every premature unbuckle as a potential safety incident. The result? What used to be shrugged off as impatience is now treated as a violation. The takeaway is simple. Stay seated, not out of politeness, out of self-preservation. eSIMs, the travel game changer. Most travelers still pay a hidden tax every time they cross borders, roaming fees, or they waste their first hour abroad hunting for Wi-Fi, swapping SIM cards, or waiting in line at airport kiosks. That's changing. Enter the eSIM, a digital SIM card that installs directly onto your phone. No plastic tray, no paperclip, no waste of time. Just scan a QR code, activate a plan, and connect before you even left the jet bridge. One company leading the charge is Sally. Their eSIMs are designed for international travelers who actually use their phones, not ration data out of fear. Buy a plan, activate it, and skip the stress of dropped calls, unsupported carriers, or surprise charges. The difference isn't just convenience, it's peace of mind. A tool that keeps you connected everywhere, without the scramble, without the fees. Most travelers don't know it exists. Those who do, never go back. Retention Builder, the bigger picture. Here's the thing. These 8 updates, they're not the whole story. They're the opening act.
Because while you're adapting to new surcharges, new digital checks, and even fines for seatbelt rules, the airlines are already moving to the next stage, quietly removing in-flight perks, rewriting seat selection algorithms to prioritize profits over fairness, deciding in real time who gets squeezed and who gets moved up. That's where we're going next. And if you think today's changes were surprising, the next chapter is going to hit even harder. Until then, tell us in the comments, which of today's shifts caught you most off guard? Your take might show up in the next breakdown. Closing recap and ethical pressure. You buy the ticket, you check the weather, you pack your bag. You do everything right. But in 2025, the rules change quietly, and they change fast. Miss just one, you're not just inconvenienced, you're grounded, fined, or left behind. That's why this channel exists, not for hype, not for hacks, but to keep you ready when the system bets you won't be. But here's the risk. If this disappears from your feed, you miss the next warning. And that one warning might be the difference between a smooth trip and a wrecked one. So here's the move. Click that button, stay informed, fly smarter, travel safe. And we'll see you in the next one.